Hi everyone, so I found this book in my collection of children's books, and I know we usually talk about this guy in the fall, but since our unit this week is talking about an apple tree, I figured Johnny Appleseed would be perfect to go over again. So this book is called Johnny Appleseed, and it is written by Patricia DeMuth, so she's the author, the one who writes the story, and it is illustrated by Michael Montgomery, so the pictures are drawn by Michael Montgomery. So let's look at this first picture. Who was Johnny Appleseed? Was he just in stories? No, Johnny was a real person. His name was John Chapman. He planted apple trees, lots and lots of them. So people called him Johnny Appleseed. So Johnny Appleseed wasn't his real name, that's just the nickname he was given because of how many apple trees that he planted. So I'm going to turn the page. Johnny was young when our country was young. Back then, many people were moving west. There were no towns, no schools, not even many houses. And there were no apple trees. None at all. So let's look at this picture. Does this look like how we live now, or does this look like it happened a long time ago? Yeah, it happened a long time ago, because look, we have a wagon that's being pulled by horses. We don't do that anymore. And let's look at their clothes. Is that how we dress now? No. So this story happened a long, long time ago. And this is a story that is real. This actually happened, so this is a true story. Johnny was going west too. He wanted to plant apple trees. He wanted to make the West a nicer place to live. So Johnny got a big, big bag. He filled it with apple seeds. Then he set out. So he filled up his bag full of apple seeds and got ready to plant as he went out west. Let's look at something I just noticed in this picture. He's not wearing any shoes. It's going to be a long journey out west if he's walking if he doesn't have on his shoes. Johnny walked for days and weeks, on and on. Soon his clothes were rags. His feet were bare. And what kind of hat did he wear? A cooking pot. That way he didn't have to carry it. See, he's got the pot on his head. Snow came. Did Johnny stop? No. He made snowshoes, then he walked some more. So look, he didn't have shoes, but he made some so that he could walk through the snow and keep going. But let's think. Could he plant any seeds in the winter? No, he couldn't plant in the winter, but he could keep traveling west. Spring came. Johnny was out west now. He stopped by a river. He dug a hole. Inside he put an apple seed. Then he covered it with dirt. Someday an apple tree would stand here. Johnny set out again. He had lots more seeds to plant. So here he is planting the seeds. And of course it's going to take a lot of time for the seeds to grow. He can't just sit there and watch it grow overnight. So it's going to take some time, but he's going to keep moving out west and keep planting seeds so that more trees will grow. Johnny walked by himself, but he was not alone. The animals were his friends. So let's look at all the animals. We have maybe a fox and a rabbit, and there are some birds. He's got his dog with him still, and there's a deer. Most people were afraid of wild animals. They had guns to shoot them, but not Johnny. One day, a big black bear saw Johnny go by. It did not hurt Johnny. Maybe the bear knew Johnny was a friend. The Indians were Johnny's friends too. They showed him how to find good food, berries and plants and roots. Where did Johnny sleep? Under the stars. Johnny liked to lie on his back and look up. The wind blew softly. Owls hooted. The stars winked down at him. Do you know what it means if owls hooted? It's when they go, hoo, hoo. Many years passed. Johnny planted apple trees everywhere. People started to call him Johnny Appleseed. One day he came back to where he had planted the first seed. It was a big tree now. A girl was swinging in it, so look. He came back, this is where he planted the very first seed, and look how big the tree had gotten. Do you think a lot of time had passed since when he first planted it until it got this big? I'd say it did. That night, Johnny stayed with the girl's family. He told stories. Everybody liked Johnny. "Stay with us," they said. "Make a home here." But Johnny did not stay. "I have work to do," he said. "I am happy. The whole world is my home." Do you think people were really happy that he had planted so many apple trees? More and more people came out west. Johnny planted more and more trees. In the spring, the trees bloomed with white flowers. Do you remember what those are called from our story? Yeah, those are the apple blossoms. Those are the flowers that come on the apple trees in the spring. And those should be coming on probably here pretty soon, within the next month. In the fall, there were apples. Red, round, ripe apples. So here we have the apples on the trees. People made apple pies and apple butter for their bread and apple cider to drink. And children had apple trees to climb. It was all thanks to Johnny Appleseed. So that was a cute story, and that, goes with our unit that we worked on again today, because it talks about planting the seeds and the process or the sequence that it takes for the trees to grow, and he did a lot of good work for the earth by planting all those trees, because people could eat from them, and they supplied the animals with a lot of food too. Thanks for listening.